Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Saturday to you and your family. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend and had a great week. We're going to take a look at here at Bitcoin, of course, help understand best practice, big picture, just kind of a quick overview for the weekend, kind of see what's going on. Typically there's low volume, but we did see a shift in direction here today, which is quite nice. The expectation was for the price to go up, and it did that. It's always nice when that happens, right? Especially when we take profits as a community. Again, if you're not currently a community member, consider joining. CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I really just help people become better traders. I got a trading academy, community, and signal group. I send out signals for every single trade that I take, and minus one recent ape trade that we took that was not so great, everything else has been pretty awesome. So again, very, very good consistency there in that sense. 80-85% I would say on average. But generally speaking, we did take a nice long position from 24,000 up to 24,006. We hit both of our targets already here in the last 24 hours. So looking forward to more, of course. We could very well see an increase in price action this weekend as originally expected. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there. Now, what we want to look at first of all is a couple of things. I did mention yesterday that a closure above 24,000 would be a positive sign to go long. Well, we actually got a doji candle and the price still went through there. Okay, so again, it was just a tremendous amount of consolidation at that specific resistance level. Finally broke through. The bears kind of didn't have enough gas in the tank to be able to drive the price down. They definitely tried, and the price inevitably came up here today. Okay, so very good stuff there in that sense. Just keep in mind with the price action increasing over the weekend, there could very well be a correction on Monday, so we just want to kind of be careful and cautious this weekend, not to go too ham and to effectively, you know, just I would say just take a sit on the sidelines. Wait for the traditional markets to open on Monday. There's a great chance again it could come down. But here's the thing. There's a lot of reasons why it shouldn't come down either. So we'll talk about that. First of all, let's go ahead and look at some standard stuff and kind of just describe what I mean by why it should continue to progress higher. First of all, RSI over 50, under 70, we're in good shape there. That's essentially a quote-unquote a bullish type of mindset, I guess you could say. I don't want you to shift your mindset bullishly, but we have broken this downtrend. Okay, and that's a positive thing. It doesn't mean you break a downtrend and it's automatically an uptrend. That's not how it works, but it is progress nonetheless. But we're under 70 and over 50 on the RSI, so that's a really healthy place to be. I like to see the price just kind of hanging out in that range. 55 to 65 is perfect. So we're right there at this point. Convergence on the MACD as well. So nothing crazy, but what's really fantastic here ultimately is the moving averages. We have, of course, the price action above both these two key level moving averages, which is extremely important to recognize. Because again, being up over the 50-day set moving average, while we tried it the first time and kind of got rejected by it, the second time was a pretty clean break. All right, so we're 4 days into this progression. The price action hasn't tried to retest that level. I don't think we will see that in the near future. I think we might see more likely to see a 28,000 retest before we come back down. Just based on the simple fact that we have very, very low volume in this area. Let me go ahead and explain that here. So if we take a look at the volume profile, there's obviously, I mean, if we take the most recent data, there's also obviously a tremendous amount of support here at 20,900, round number 21,000. Okay, so 21,000 is this tremendous amount of volume support. So the price does come back down to say, for example, to retest that moving average, it'll pretty much be the same place. So we can expect 21,000 to be a pretty strong support level, regardless of if the price comes back down to that immediately and or inevitably later down the road, right? So again, keep in mind that 50-day SMA should work as a support level now, as well as the fact that we have a support level formed already previous to that, right at that same level. So we got volume support and moving average support. That's a fantastic thing. So 21,000 is a kind of a hard line. I don't think we're going to see a break below 21,000 on this trend. And if just say we were to retest 21,000, that'd still be essentially a higher low, and we'd still be in good shape. Okay. So again, that's roughly where we're at there in that sense. But another thing to kind of highlight is this here, this big ass gap that we see. Do you see a lot of volume in this area here? There isn't much at all. Okay. And there isn't really much volume previously too, because Bitcoin went parabolic after it broke 24,000. So in that sentiment, we have very, very little volume in this range of 24 to 28,000, and there's a strong likelihood the price will continue to progress higher as if it's in price discovery, because it doesn't have any volume here. There's nothing here. It's like a big blank spot. So again, volume speaks very loud in that sense, because the fact that it tells us that there is a deficiency where we're at right now of volume. So while it may not blast straight through that, it'll definitely likely accumulate in that area. Okay, so again, we got some positive stuff there in that sense. That to me is a pretty good thing. And I think we need to recognize the fact that we're up over 24,000. While this candlestick hasn't closed yet, it's a little early. I don't want to be premature and say that we're good to go. But on the same accord, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday comes of next week and the traditional markets are open. We don't get a significant gap down from the NASDAQ or S&P. We should be in good shape to be able to see the price action hold 24 and come up. We might actually even see a retest of 24,000 before it legs up again. And that's a common characteristic in price discovery. So let's just go ahead and take a look at that here. You can see this strong resistance level at 24,000. You can see the price action just broke above, and now it's trying to consolidate at that upper Fibonacci level about 24.5. But if we're to lose that, just say for example, the price action is more likely to come back down and retest 24,000 and come up again, because it's a really, really common characteristic in any type of breakout pattern. I mean, you can see it happened here where it came up and broke through this, comes down to bounce and come up again. It's really normal for the price to do that. So that's why I expect the price to continue higher, because not only do we have this ascending type of pendant pattern, but we also had a potential strong breakout to the upside based on that being a previous key level resistance that keeps getting retested. And so we retested 24,000 a good handful of times, and in this last 24-hour period, it literally was tested the entire time. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 11 candlesticks in a row. So that's like 44 hours of just continuous retesting. So a lot of good stuff there in that sense. That's why it likely broke to the upside. You could argue that there was a doji candle yesterday that closed and it should have came down. But in truth, you look at all the doji candles in the past, it's about a 50-50 probability it's going to go up or down. The double dojis are the ones you want to worry about. So if today does close as a doji candle, then I don't think we're going to be able to hold and maintain 24. It'll probably come back down. So definitely looking for a closure above 24,000 today to avoid that type of pattern forming, because obviously the price gets rejection, comes right back down to where it's at. There's a possibility it could come lower, but it's once again more likely the price will bounce off that level. Again, those are just kind of normal standard patterns that happen in trading. It's not just cryptocurrency, it happens in the regular market. I traded the traditional market for 15 years before I switched over to crypto, and I can tell you that those things happen all the time. There's no real coincidence. And the main reason why is these things happen, they're self-fulfilling prophecies, because a lot of retail investors or larger investors that can control the market, they're using the same indicators. They're not using all these crazy complex indicators. They're using most of the basic ones, which is why I like to teach that, because if you keep things simple in trading, you're going to have a lot better results. Anyways, easier said than done, but obviously something to work on. Here's something to note too, and logic would tell you that since we're above 70 on the RSI, it's going to come back down. I would say that's a safe presumption. But the presumption is also in most cases that when the price comes up to 70, it's going to get rejected when we technically broke through it now. Now that we're above it, we could very well stay there for a little while, which I'm guessing is probably likely until Monday, until profits are taken, and it'll continue to maintain itself above that level. Once again, just depends on how healthy this continuation is. To me, this is a very healthy pattern because we had nice consolidation here, and it's worked out to be a very good little situation. Okay, so again, keep this in mind though. When you have two patterns in a row, two pennants or two bull flags, whatever you want to call them, when you have two of those in a row, the third one is less likely to occur. Even though things do happen in threes a lot of times in cryptocurrency, I can say that specific trends like this, the likelihood of a third pattern that's the exact same as the previous is very low. In other words, we shouldn't expect the price to do a pennant here. It'll probably come back down, do some weird garbage that will be a lot less clean than what we've seen recently. All right, so again, just some foresight there. Now, looking at the MACD, of course, we got a bounce here. We're basically converging on the MACD. We're over 70 on the RSI. So in truth here, we are still overextended to an extent on the relative strength index, basically just telling us that in the last 14 candlesticks, we've seen a significant amount of resistance at that level, and we've broken through that. So in truth, we shouldn't expect the price to go much further from here. So I would exercise caution on a long position. You have one open, all good. Like with ours, for example, our second profit target has been hit. So our trailing stop loss kicked in, and now it's right at break even at 24. So again, all good if it comes back down to 24 and bounces. That's totally fine. But once again, you want to make sure to be careful with long position right now. Just in general, even though Bitcoin does appear to be bullish, I don't think we're just going to see a race to 28K. I think it's going to likely be a little choppy over the next few days because it's proven to be very choppy in the last last couple of days, honestly, the traditional trading days have been very funky. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so that's kind of where we're at there at this point. That's the 4 hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1 and call it a day. So taking a look at the 1 hour time frame, we can see on TD sequential we're at an 8 right now. Pretty standard stuff here, but when you're at an 8 on TD sequential, the likelihood of a pullback is higher. Not saying it's guaranteed to happen. It's either pullback or consolidation. The probability of it going much higher from here is less. Again, you do have these high volume spikes that can cause crazy chaotic extra overtime, so to speak, but for the most part we're at an 8. We've consolidated for the last 4 or 5 hours at this level. I think it's safe to presume that the price is going to kind of get a little reset here, go sideways, come back down to retest 24. That's what I'm looking for. And then of course there is possibility, of course, of it coming lower than 24 too. We could lose 24,000. There's no guarantee it's going to hold, but I do think it's more likely to hold based on the fact that we've retested so many times, and now that we're above that level, the probability of it coming lower is lower. So just keep that in mind. But I would say a correction of 24,000 makes sense at this point. But it could also very much consolidate right where it's at, because you got to keep in mind these are nice little strong increases followed by consolidation. So strong increase, we could just see consolidation at 24.5 to try to leg up again to the next key level Fibonacci retracement. That could very well be the case. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and quickly identify some resistance levels. According to Fibonacci, 26,000 is a hard line. 1.272 is a very common area for the price to get rejected initially in price discovery. So if we take a look at this here, we can see if the price action comes up, just say hypothetically we continue to progress higher, we should see some resistance at 26,000. So we should have a channel between 24 to 26,000 over the next however many hours or days to effectively consolidate at that area, build up that volume profile, and continue higher. So there's a great chance of that too, okay? Now, what are the chances of the price coming down to 14,000? That's what I get that question a lot. Honestly, a lot would need to happen to that. First of all, the thing we want to identify initially is a lower high. A lower low, for example. What I mean by that is if we start seeing a lower low, so in other words, our next low, if our next low is lower than 21,000, that key level support based on volume that we looked at and identified earlier, as well as the simple moving average 50 being right at that same exact place, then at that point we should stress and worry ourselves that 14,000 is probable. But I feel as if the price were to retrace right now and shoot straight to 21K, we're going to see a lot of support at that level. Okay, so again, that's where volume I feel comes in. So I don't think we're in a position where we should expect 14. I think 28 is more likely than 14 at this level, at this point, based on our progression, how well we've done over the last 2 months of trading. Higher lows consistently, ascending, just broke a major descending trend. Like, I mean, look at this. This is like, what, 3 or 4 months worth of just downtrend? We're finally broken free from that. So just keep in mind, we're in pretty good shape in that regard. And I can still comfortably say that I'm bullish on Bitcoin, not bullish in the stupid nonsensical way of going out of control and just going long on everything. Definitely not. But bullish in the sense of the fact that we are more likely to stay above 21,000, likely above 24,000 for the immediate future. That I think 28K would be more so inevitable at this point versus the inverse of 14. All right, again. If you disagree, feel free to comment below. This is a free country, at least the one that I live in, and I can tell you this is, it's all well and good, nonetheless, okay? The key is to make sure that you work within your risk tolerance and make sure that you're the best trader you can be. That's what I like to do, of course, for myself, try to be an example for my community, and we've all been doing very well recently. So again, if you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. We've got a lot of new members here recently. We're up over 200 members presently that are active, and we all learn and grow together. Fantastic experience. So thanks again so much to my current community members for making making this part of my life a really awesome thing. So thank you for that. I definitely appreciate it. Okay, so enough rambling. That's essentially where we're at here. Hopefully, I got the point across. Good shape. Just once again, be cautious with the longs until we have verification or validation, confirmation, whatever term you want to use to describe it. We want to see a retest of 24,000 and a leg up from there. That should and could likely be the realistic probability. But again, profits could very well be taken on Monday too. So try not to have an open position going into Monday's trading day or Sunday night for that matter, because Sunday nights. Right around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I think 8 p.m. Eastern. The eastern hemisphere of the world, basically the eastern continents, they're effectively changing the market direction, right? So be mindful of that tomorrow evening, if you will, depending on, of course, where you're located. All right, so that's kind of where we're at. Hope you learned something here today. If you did, comment below. If not, that's cool too. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.